everyone, welcome and thank you for joining us for today's episode of CTFF Talks. And today we have very special, important VIP partners of CTFF joining us today. Two of the, honestly, really high important leaders and role models just in my expanded learning journey, joining us today with the Fresno County Office of Superintendent of Schools. And we are going to introduce ourselves. So, Helena, will you please let the people know who you are, kind of your role currently, and maybe your start with expanded learning?
Sure. So my name is Helena Silva. I am the Executive Director of our Safe and Healthy Kids Department at the Office of the Fresno County Superintendent of Schools. I've been there for about 21 years now. Started off as a program secretary and then just kind of worked my way through the different programs and positions within our county office in the same department. And here I am, Executive Director.
No big deal.
Yeah.
And Josh, will you please introduce yourself? Let the folks know.
Yeah, what's up? My name is Joshua Blecha, and I'm also with the Office of the Fresno County Superintendent of Schools, and my role in our education system is a part of the system of support for expanded learning, and I am a region lead as part of that system of support for expanded learning, helping support Region 7 Fresno.
Yeah.
To give context to my background, I started as what we used to call frontline educators, tutors. Was out at Fremont Elementary, moved on to become an assistant site lead and a site lead with teaching fellows. Moved on in those 21 years Helena Silva spoke about. She was actually on my interview panel to work in the Office of the Fresno County Superintendent of Schools to become a multi-site manager, what we call a project specialist now. And then moved on to this role, helping support our region with technical assistance. And I don't know if you want me to dive into that, but hey, the swimming pool's always open when it comes to technical assistance.
Yeah, true. And FCSS has been one of our longest partners. It's our largest partner, and we work so closely together, FCSS and CTFF. And so it's really special that we get to pick your brains today on a fun topic of Lights On After School. So speaking of Lights On After School, I have a question for you both. I want to have a timer, so my folks behind the camera, I want to have 30 seconds. We're going to do a stopwatch. Helena, can you let the folks know? Give us your Lights On After School elevator pitch. I will count to 3. You ready?
Right.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, go.
All right, so Lights On After School is a nationwide event of all after-school programs showcasing all the good that they do, all the services they provide to our students and our families. It's literally leaving the lights on after school. Ooh, less than 30 seconds.
Yeah. Can you top that, Josh? You're pretty competitive.
I feel like it was pretty informative, so I don't know if I can top that, but I will say this, camera look in, zoom in. Students, if you're debating whether or not to go, or parents or family, go. Because it is one of the few opportunities where you can go on campus and actually look at what our expanded learning programs are doing with those kids. And let's actually clap, be a fan of what those kids are learning. I will say expanded learning makes great impact in our education system. And that day specifically, if those LEAs are leaning into that event the way that they could, it is an opportunity for those families, those parents, to see what those kids are actually learning in those programs. So,
Josh, can you share a story of how you've witnessed the importance of after school firsthand?
There was a student when I was a site lead at El Capitan Middle School, and there was a student who had sketchy attendance, and what we would do is we would send out a survey to gauge the interest in the program, but also ask what are some of the enrichment offerings that they'd like to see. And one of the results was a DJ class. And this student in particular who had that sketchy attendance showed up and never missed a day, never missed a class. And what was amazing about that is we always hosted a Halloween dance. And he volunteered to go on stage and showcase the songs that he created via that DJ class, but he also played it in front of, and this is a kid that was shy, super reserved. His words, outcasty. But he got up on there, dressed as Frankenstein, and DJ'd some original songs. And to me, that just shows how the impact of expanded learning can have on a kid. And it's not just about DJ, it's about interest in going to school. He didn't miss a day of school after he had something to do during expanded learning time. So to me, that's one example, and a cool one.
Yeah, DJ Frankenstein.
Exactly.
Love that.
Yeah.
Hey, I think I saw a photo of that. Is that There's a photo of this, right?
I don't know, but I hope there is out there.
I thought once
cool.
I've seen this photo before. That's pretty cool. Okay, Helena. What is the biggest challenge that the field of expanded learning after school faces, and how can our community come together to support these challenges?
I think one of the biggest challenges, and I'm sure there's many, but staffing, especially for our rural districts. It's so hard to get staff out there. You really have to dip into your community. And even in our more urban areas, it's tough with the influx of ELOP dollars and how many more spaces that has opened up in after school and serving so many more students. There's still waiting lists because we're looking for staff. So I think the community, what they can do is tap on the shoulder of their, cousin, their sister, their brother, their family members, tell them about these jobs in after school. It's a great start for anyone. So I think just that continuous advocacy and outreach to encourage people to apply and give it a shot. They may, fall in love with it and, be with us for 20 years.
That's so true. I'm going to use this as my selfish plug to let folks know who may be watching.
Yes.
If you're a teaching fellow, stay working with us. If you feel like your intent to return, let us know if you're coming back next semester. And if you know somebody, word of mouth, we've learned that over the years, over 26 years later, we know word of mouth is the strongest way to let folks know that we're hiring. So go to our website or just, click the link in the bio, all the things, we'll drop it down below. But we are hiring. That's my selfish plug. Have you seen a moment where community support has made a big difference for either a specific program or just the field in general?
Yeah, one of the greatest examples I've ever seen was a middle school had a flyer. It was before school even started, like the school year started, and they opened up their gymnasium, and it was a backpack giveaway. They got donations to give backpacks out to the students that didn't have them. But when the community learned about this event, there were other partnerships that reached out to the school to offer some of the support. So I remember there was the local barber there that was cutting hair for the kids that needed haircuts. There was also the local dentistry that provided packs for like dental care. There was also hygiene kits that were given out. And to me, that just shows like when there's something of need and the community's made aware of that, we can all be contributors to that. But if we aren't aware of that, if we're not engaging with our community, it would have just been backpacks. And that would have still been okay. But we definitely leveled up for that event, for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you remember where?
Yes, I do.
Where?
Fort Miller.
Ah, good old Fort.
Yeah.
Nice. Helena, have you ever seen a moment where community support has made a big difference for either at just one site or just the entire field of expanded learning?
Yes, definitely. With community schools. Just, over the past couple years, we've started some community schools in some districts. We have some really great examples of expanded learning coming together with our community schools coordinators and being part of that discussion of the whole child, the whole school day, community members coming to advisory group meetings and just, having their input and feedback. I was at a meeting a couple weeks ago, and they were focused on LCAP goals, and we had our Post-its around the room, and after school was in there, but along with what are the school day teachers doing. So it's just that mix of an alignment with the school day. We're really seeing it strong in those districts where we have community schools and expanding learning has been brought in. There's so much collaboration happening that I'm excited to see what these next few years bring in those districts, and hopefully that can expand to others too.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, it's the whole child, it's the whole person, and that involves the collaboration.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, Helena, what do you want our community, or if we want to think big, the whole world to know about after school?
I think the one thing, the misconception, and Josh mentioned it earlier, it's not childcare, it's not babysitting, it's not something that kids go and just run around wild and after school. It is truly a space for students to explore and learn about things that they normally would not be exposed to. They get to try all kinds of activities, and they're around caring adults. And they get to build those relationships with those adults. They get to build relationships with peers they may not hang out with normally during the school day. So it's more than just, just more than just a safe space for them to be in after school hours, but there's a ton of opportunities for them. I sign every single purchase that comes through our office. every single one. I look at open every one, read through it. So I really get to see all the activities that everyone's doing. And I'm always like, surprised by some. And, some I do push back. I apologize. But I just need to understand. And everyone that I send back and ask more questions about, those program leaders, they can explain it to me, they can justify it, it makes sense, and I just needed it to be a little more detailed, and I give the green light. I hardly, say no.
Yeah.
It's always well, how can we make this work?
Yeah. So. Can you think of one or two examples that you're wow, that's really creative or unique?
Yeah. We have cosmetology, barber, cooking clubs, barbecue clubs, shoe dyeing, all kinds of arts and crafts. Trying to think of one that really stands out.
But also community partnerships. There's also community partnerships that are really creative. So Fresno State Baseball partners with some of the districts in supporting sports development. To me, that's really, really cool, because not only do the kids get a fun experience with sports, but they also get the college role model that's going to be right next to them too. So that's a really cool one.
Josh, what do you want the community, or we're thinking big here, the whole wide world, to know about after school?
That we're, if you think about where expanded learning or after school, when we first started, Helena mentioned a safe space. That was the intention when it first started. And to see us progress now to where, I'll challenge all the listeners or the viewers. We put 10 kids in a classroom right now and we teach them algebra. Do we all think that those 10 kids are going to learn at the same speed? No. There's going to be kids that pick it up and they're going to leave that classroom with confidence in algebra. But I guarantee you there's going to be a couple of those kids that leave needing additional help, needing more time to learn about that particular subject. And to me, that's a great example of the opportunities that expanded learning can create. Because I think sometimes we can get caught up in it's a safe space, or we have all these cool enrichment opportunities. But sometimes we have to speak the language of core day. Core day is all based on student outcomes. How are they testing? And we have to sometimes step on that turf to be able to communicate and align with what they're trying to accomplish. And that's academics. And I think that's one of the things that I think our system is going to be able to prove over time, especially with having to report to CalPADS now. And that's high level stuff. But just know, there's a new mechanism that our state is creating so that we can actually show all of that hard work that you guys are putting into, helping shape these futures of these kids. We're going to be able to prove that hard work.
Yeah. I know, myself, working parent, child in after school program, to be able to pick him up, knowing one, that he was engaged with, taken care of, supervised, structured play, all of these things, and his homework was already reviewed, checked over. He worked with somebody who was able to be confidently able to support him. From a working parent's perspective, how important and how impactful that is, And I know our teaching fellows, some of them themselves are working parents. And, they rely on these opportunities of after school. So that's why we got to keep the lights on, people. Okay, Josh, what advice would you give to an emerging leader, so someone who's one of our teaching fellows who's just starting off in the after school or expanded learning career?
I'll say this, I don't know how you got here, but we thank you for being here and joining us in this field of expanded learning. I'll say just accept the responsibility that you have. Every moment that you have with every single one of these kids is making an impact. So every little smile, even the quiet kid that doesn't really talk and gives you a whispered thank you, those moments where it just clicks with a kid, or the relationship becomes a moment where they're confiding in you about their family, or how they're struggling in school, or how they're being successful in school, or just looking to you as a role model. Every single one of those moments is making an impact on them. And what's amazing is over the time that I've spent in expanded learning, you're going to learn that those are the moments that you're going to miss the most. So welcome them. And I will say this too, there's going to be some hard moments, but you'll learn from them, and they're only temporary, and use them as moments to learn. And yeah, but again, you have an enormous amount of influence on those kids, so enjoy it.
Yeah, they are the real role models in those kids' lives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Helena, what advice would you give to someone who's an emerging leader, teaching fellow, brand new to the field of after-school programming?
I think that one piece of advice is know that you have caring people around you, people who are there to see you succeed, to support you, that you can go to and ask for, help, like, hey, how can I do this better? Or, what advice can you give me? This kid is, XYZ and I'm having a hard time. There's plenty of support around you, your coworkers, your site lead, that are there to support you, staff here at Teaching Fellows, staff at the FCSS. That's one piece of advice. And then also, to piggyback on Josh, realize the opportunity you have to build relationships with those students and make an impact, a lasting impact. My kids in their after-school programs still remember the day Mr. Steven brought snow to the school. Not anything he had to do. He just wanted to bring snow to the school. And so they had so much fun. He unloaded his truck and the kids played in the snow. But they remember those things, how cool Mr. Steven was. We named our little elf on the shelf Steven after Mr. Steven. So it's really impactful what you do and those lasting memories you have on your students.
I'm going to ask you a question. It's not on the cue card, so I'm sorry if it does wrong. But I figured, we have a question for emerging leaders, so those teaching fellows who are just starting off. But what about those who maybe been in the field a couple of years and they're looking for a leadership opportunity, or what can they do? Do you have any advice as someone who's grown in your leadership over the years in expanded learning? What advice would you give to someone like that?
Really seize those opportunities that come across your way to be part of work groups, be on committees, new initiatives. I know you guys do a great job of starting new things, and you guys always have something new and exciting going on. So when those opportunities present themselves and is open for you to participate. Also, you can reach out to any of us to pick our brains on what led us to the path we're in now, and even ask, like, hey, is there other ways that I can get more involved? I think just jumping in and putting yourself out there goes a long way.
Yeah. Josh?
Yeah, I'd love to piggyback on that. Thank you.
Yeah, please.
He's like,
yeah.
You were like waiting on it.
In the spirit of Lights On, like Lights On is definitely like a marketing campaign. You get to prop up the hard work that you do and the impact that expanded learning has. So outside of just Lights On After School, like, it can feel uncomfortable talking about yourself or marketing yourself, but show the work. Connect with your administrators on campus. Connect with district administrators. Connect with those in those leadership roles and say, hey, this is what I'm doing and this is how I'm doing it. To me, that is the way. If you want to keep climbing that ladder, connection is key. But if you never ever communicate or share what you're doing, it's still great work.
Yeah.
Still great work.
Just let us know. Let us know about it.
Yeah, it might just stay there though. So
yeah.
let the world know.
Yeah, take advantage of those site visits when admin are doing their walkthroughs. Yeah.
Or invite people to site visits for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Love that. Okay, Josh, is there anything you want to share with a parent who's nervous about signing up their child for after-school program?
So being a parent of a TKer and a kinder, I know this firsthand, and I know all the programs, not through and through, but I have a general awareness. So I will say this, learn about what expanded learning is. If you're going into something and you don't have any idea about what it is, you might have disappointment or expectations too high or expectations too low. So there's also another thing that you can do is every district is required to post their expanded learning opportunities program plan on their district website. And I know that's kind of complicated, but no joke, that outlines the intention of the district and how they view their expanded learning programs. Like in that plan, they have the daily schedules. They also on most websites now have what the program offers, what it does. So I know that's cliche, but that was the first thing I thought of. and if they ask for volunteers, like volunteer. The other thing I was going to say too is some of these programs can be competitive with enrollment. So if you're on the fence, still enroll and then decide. No joke.
Yeah, it's true. It's neat. And to tie it in like with Lights On is a great opportunity to learn what your child would be exposed to and the type of people they're going to get to be around if you're on the fence about signing up your child for after school program.
Yeah.
Helena, do you have anything you want to share with a parent who's possibly nervous or on the fence about signing up their kid for after school program?
No, I get it. Being a parent myself, you're leaving your most loved person in the hands of someone else. So that's can be scary, especially when they're little. Mine are all old now. So just know that the staff that are there truly care. They have safety is their number one priority with your child. They're going to make sure that they're safe, they're having a good time, they're being exposed to new opportunities. And, like Josh said, learn about the program, go and ask questions. I think our site leads would really love to have parents not only come for negative reasons, but to come for positive reasons to learn more and ask questions. I don't think I've come across anyone who's turned someone away for asking questions, and we welcome that and welcome that input. So it's a safe space for adults too to come into after school and learn a little more and see what their child is going to be doing. So it'll be okay.
It will be okay. I agree, because we only hire the people who are passionate about this work.
Yeah.
Okay, Helena, now that we understand the importance of after school, what would you tell a community member who wants to advocate for the importance of expanded learning?
I think, we appreciate the advocacy. I think sharing your own personal story. So if you have a connection or a tie to your own experience in after school, I think people relate to that a ton more. So our community members, I think everyone has got to know someone in their family or have some tie to someone in after school. So just dig a little more in that. Ask your questions so you can help advocate for us and all of the positive benefits of after school and the continued funding of after school. I think just share your own experience with it.
Yeah. Josh, if now that we all know the importance of after school, what would you tell a community member who wants to advocate for the importance of it?
So I think the best advocates are the most informed advocates. Mm-hmm. So try to learn as much as you can, not just about the field of expanded learning, but what programs that you would be advocating for. Also, I do believe in exposure. So advocating would need to happen at some of those networking opportunities. So board meetings. So if you're a parent, attend those board meetings. Speak on behalf of what you're seeing. Only if it's positive, though. Just kidding. But again, learn, develop what you're going to say, how you're going to say it, and then find those spaces to be able to share. And also, advocacy doesn't have to just be at a board meeting.
Yeah.
If you want to be at a school site council meeting, or just go in and consult with the principal, any of those things. But we're welcome to all advocacy, especially if it's positive.
Yeah. I was thinking too, advocacy has such it can feel big for some people, but advocacy, like you said, was going to the principal, letting them know how much you rely on this, or how much you enjoy it, or being able to share it with community members when you're out volunteering, or sharing it online. I mean, I don't know somebody who doesn't have social media nowadays, so it's sharing the positive experiences, and if you're attending a Lights On event, sharing those photos, tagging the schools, tagging the programs, because it all goes a long way, right? And when that way, those who are out on the field saying, hey, we need more investment in after school, we can rely on the stories.
Well, you're saying that, so I think of Sacramento. I was more thinking about the local level, but we're always looking for people to be able to prop up the field of expanded learning in Sacramento. So if you're a newbie into the field of education, we are all bound by law. So even expanded learning, those 3 components we have to do, that's law. So, but we need believers to influence legislation. We need believers to influence the legislature. So those are our advocates.
In the spirit of Lights On, just a big thank you to all of you working in our programs every day. It's gone beyond just the school year. It's just about the whole year now with our summer programs and our winter and spring intersessions. So huge thank you for everything that you're doing for our students and our families and your school communities. It's a large-scale impact. It's, you're on your school site, but it's nationwide. It's a national celebration, so thank you.
Yeah, fun fact, the Empire State Building lights up for Lights On.
That's right.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for tuning in, for listening, for watching. It's been a joy to chat with Josh and Helena for our special edition, specifically for Lights On After School. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, on Spotify. That's where you can catch all CTFF talks. We're currently on season 2. And don't forget, keep the lights on.
Keep the lights on.